He is a god of the game.
Siiiiiii. Ronaldo is happy, Glazers are happy, fans are happy. But is it just a PR victory for Manchester United? Are Arsenal fans living their worst ever nightmare where a 5-0 whopping was the second worst thing to happen this week? Mbappe is staying in Paris and he confirmed it by scoring 2 goals before Messi's debut followed by photoshoots. Post-Ronaldo era hasn't been kind for Juventus. Haland to Dortmund's rescue and yet another batting disaster at Leeds. Let's go!
Absolutely world class!
Welcome everyone to episode 28 of Sports Charcha. So to discuss all the sports action that happened over the weekend and obviously to discuss the transfer saga or the transfer or the return of the hero to Manchester United, we have Ishan with us. First time on video in a long time.
Hi guys, this is specially for Cristiano so that he can see my face. I'm smiling. Thank you.
Okay guys, English Premier League is actually over. Manchester United have won it. At least that's how it felt looking at the way United fans reacting all over the world, over internet and everything. But hey, why not? It is a massive moment and if you are a fan, you have all the reason to celebrate. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo is arguably the greatest player to have ever played the game, arguably the greatest of this generation. And he is your boy, he is coming back home. So there is a lot of reason to celebrate.
But Bala, before we get into the main thing, I want to ask you a question. Do you think Ronaldo is the greatest ever United player?
Out of what I have seen, I mean, I'm not talking the times before I have seen.
Go back to the Buzzi Beebs and Charlton days, but I'm saying in the last 2 decades.
2 decades, yeah, he is easily. Like in terms of raw numbers and output, he is easily the greatest to me.
So you're trumping him over Wayne Rooney?
Yeah, because Cristiano Ronaldo won a Ballon d'Or with Manchester United. That in itself is a...
You're taking it out of individual awards, bro.
No, I'm saying that his performance with United in that specific time, within that specific time is tremendous. Like if he had spent as much time as Rooney, he would have trumped pretty much everyone else, even Cantona, even everyone else. So...
Fair.
Great. So, what was your reaction? I mean, I know you're a closet United fan. How did you feel?
I think it's a direct relation. If you're a Real Madrid fan, you generally tend to like United and vice versa, and Barcelona to Arsenal. Not much to like about Arsenal, by the way. But still, I was really happy because I knew for a fact he's never going to come back to Real Madrid. We are not on that project anymore. It was scary to think of Ronaldo potentially joining Man City. It would have made a lot of sense for City, but it wouldn't have made sense for Ronaldo's legacy because one thing that Ronaldo likes over accolades is adulation. And he would have literally lost half the population of the world as fans. Like his Instagram fan count would have, follower count would have declined by 50% or something if that would have happened. And so he made the smart choice. I don't know if City was ever in play. I've been reading reports, etc. City had shown initial interest, but they had actually never made a serious offer. I think United just got spooked by the pressure they would get out of, meaning anyway the fans don't particularly like them, but the pressure and hate they would get if they had not even tried going for Ronaldo. And once they did, it was always going to happen. And United were very smart about it because they made an announcement that welcome home Cristiano Ronaldo about 5 days ago when the world went crazy, but he actually signed today.
Yeah.
And they made another announcement, so very good marketing strategy by Man United. But I'm so happy, man. Like, Ronaldo back in the Premier League is just insane. I hope he does well though.
Yeah, I mean, I love all the euphoria and everything, but I'm very sorry. I'm going to slightly bust this bubble right now. See, I understand that it's a great PR success. Financially, it makes every sense. I mean, there is no point that Cristiano Ronaldo is costly or not. He's going to bring you all the money. And that is where I have a problem because the only entity that seemed to get a win out of this deal, like a confirmed win out of this deal, is Glazers. Because no matter how bad it goes on the field, Glazers won't feel bad because they would have got their brand value back. Like Manchester United has a brand value sexy again after all the protests that happened 2-3 months back. Their share prices have already increased and there is no point in talking about the t-shirt, the jersey sales and all. It's going to skyrocket anyways. So Glazers are a clear winner in this. Fans at this point of time, they're a clear winner, and I believe no matter how this turns out, the euphoria will remain. Like seeing Ronaldo back in a Manchester United shirt doesn't matter whether he scores 20 goals or 5 goals. It doesn't matter. It's going to be very happy.
I think that's the main point. Like Glazers can say, "Hey, I got you Ronaldo. What problem do you have?" Right? Which fan will say your transfers were bad? Like when you've got Jadon Sancho, Rafael Varane, and Cristiano Ronaldo in a single transfer window, meaning you'd be pretty crazy to complain. It can't go that bad with all three players. So I think Glazers have actually pulled out quite a coup here. They've not spent shitloads of money, to be honest, on the stature of players they've got. But I think overall, as you rightly said, I won't extend this, but I think it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, but the only point is, like, I was going through an article written by this journalist called Jonathan Wilson. So he brought in certain points that why Cristiano Ronaldo, in a sporting sense, like on field, may not provide as much success as someone expects. Like, I believe like part of the United fans also think that he's not going to like suddenly make Manchester United into a title contender or a Champions League winning contender. He's not going to improve the quality of the team in a direct way. But what he can definitely do is bring in set a lot of standards. Yes. Inside the dressing room, in terms of training, in terms of commitment, in terms of mentality. So imagine someone like a Greenwood, someone like a Rashford, someone like a Sancho. Like they will feed a lot of him in terms of how he trains himself, how he presents himself, and how he takes care of himself. I think that is where there will be a lot of value add. But I really don't see him. I mean, he will have his moments. There will definitely be a moment where he'll score a goal against Liverpool in Old Trafford, or score a goal against Manchester City in a derby, or score an important winning goal against some big team in a Champions League game. But all in all, in a sporting sense, this may not be that much successful. But as I said before, by taking every other perspective into consideration, this is a definite win-win signing.
Yeah, and I think that's what I think you make a valid point there in terms of the professionalism and the standards Ronaldo will bring in. And not just Ronaldo, let's be honest, Rafael Varane, who's won it all. He's just 28, but he's had more Champions League titles than any of the Premier League teams combined. That kind of standards with all the young players coming in from the youth, in terms of just being around them, practicing with them. And obviously Ronaldo, Rafael Varane have played together. They'll see how people who won everything play together. And that will actually motivate a lot of these youngsters to actually take their game to the next level. So yeah, you're right. I'm not expecting 40 goals from Ronaldo this season, but what I'm expecting is everyone else around him to become better players.
Yeah, hopefully Fred also becomes a better player, because his position has become extremely crucial with Ronaldo in the team. Great. Now let's hope this brings in a lot of happiness to United fans and not end in sadness. So moving on to the EPL results this time, like talking about Manchester United, like we saw why they might need someone like Ronaldo. When you saw the game against Wolves, they were pretty much shit for a very long time and finally managed to win 1-0, which is such a kind of a controversial decision in the end, but I am fine with it. I don't have any problem with that decision. Whatever it is, it has happened. Did you see the match?
Yes, I saw the match, and I want to give a big shout out to the Wolves team. They've lost every single game this season where they've won, but in all of the 3 games, they've been the better team. And especially against Man United, they were outstanding. Like, they played so well. They had great chances. Adama Traore was unplayable, unmarkable. But I think the man of the match was David De Gea. He made one of the saves of the season, a double save. Especially, guys, if you see the second save, which was complete reflex. Unbelievable save. But these are wins that will actually make the difference for United. These are the types of wins that United in the past under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have found it difficult to do. Like, tough games, away games. Can they get just that one goal and keep a clean sheet? They started to do that. But you're right. They did. Jadon Sancho had a crap game. Let's be very honest here. He had a very, very bad game. Bruno Fernandes, again, absent. Pogba couldn't do very much on his own. Cavani played, but if there was no ball, he's a proper out-and-out striker. If you don't give him any service, he's not going to do very much. So, Wolves did very well to contain United, but Mason Greenwood, man, his finishing is unbelievable. Left foot, right foot. He somehow slots the ball into the back of the net from any random angle, and that's what happened with this goal. Yes, you're right. Controversy. It could have been a foul, but the play went on. VAR said it's not. So United take the win.
Yeah, and the other game that we were all looking forward to was Liverpool versus Chelsea. It ended 1 each. It was quite an interesting game. In fact, first half was extremely brilliant. It was a proper top of the head clash, but then that controversial red card decision towards the end of first half kind of shifted the balance of the game. The second half, where Chelsea came out with one single aim in mind, that we are going to defend, and boy, they defended brilliantly. Like, it was a spirited defensive display. A little bit on the Liverpool's performance, wasn't really happy the way the front three performed. This again goes to show why Liverpool need to sign a very good forward player. If either sign a good player or get the best out of Minamino and Oxlade-Chamberlain, but I don't think Klopp has any trust on these two players. This looks like he doesn't trust a lot from these players, and he started with Firmino, brought in Jota. Liverpool were okay, but again Chelsea's defense was immense, man. With 10 men, they were amazing.
Yeah, and just to quickly add, I think you summarized it pretty well, but just to add to that, I actually felt that Liverpool improved after Jota came on. Firmino, I've noticed in the last couple of years, there's been a little bit of a decline in his performances. False nine kind of thing has not probably been working, and what Liverpool really lacked is a better version of Thiago Alcantara. He has just not shown up consistently for them. You know, he's coming off the bench. Yeah, he's not been giving a starting role, but when he came on midway through the second half, I thought 10 men. He actually made his debut against Chelsea last season when Chelsea were down to 10 men, and he absolutely destroyed Chelsea. And that was, I think, that the thing that Klopp wanted to do. And he didn't do too much. He had some great balls, but not too many intricate passes that actually broke the defensive line. And I think that's the key. They're trusting Thiago to come good. He has to come good if this season is going to be successful for Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea is getting really scary right now. I mean, they look really, really strong. I mean, they're definite title contenders. But talking about title contenders, the other game, Arsenal versus Manchester City.
Arsenal are title contenders. For sure.
See, just before that game, there were two statues unveiled outside the stadium of David Silva and Vincent Kompany, and then there were 4 statues inside the stadium as Arsenal defense. Oh man, I was outside at a friend's place watching India versus England. Let's talk about that later. We'll come to that later. So I suddenly realized the match has started. We changed the channel. 2-0 within 16-17 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, let's change. It's like, yeah, we know how this is going to go. And within like 15-20 minutes, I got a notification saying that Granit Xhaka red card. ठीक है यार, चल.
Actually, the Arsenal played completely along with the script. This is what happens to Arsenal when they collapse. Xhaka gets a red card, and then they concede 3 more goals. But if you miss the start of the game, the first 10 minutes, Arsenal were actually dominating. They had some good, movement. They had good, forward play with Aubameyang getting into the act, etc. But the moment City scored, I think 404 error, Control-Alt-Delete, End Explorer happened to the Arsenal team, and then it was nowhere back. Meaning, I feel they were lucky it was not worse, because the amount of chances Man City had, and they were taking it very easy. In the second half, they were literally strolling in the park. But if they had really been in that mood where they want to destroy somebody, it could have been double figures, man. It was really scary, and it was very embarrassing for all the Arsenal fans, and I know a lot. But bottom of the table, what do you think? -9 goal difference.
Yeah, it's really, really sad. And even sadder is Tottenham are on top of the table, where they haven't considered a single goal, and Arsenal haven't scored a single goal for the first time ever in their history. Like, about more than 100 plus years of history of the club, they have never gone without scoring in the first 3 games. Like, this has never happened. So it is really the worst time to be an Arsenal fan. I mean, talking about Tottenham, they defeated Watford 1-0, yet another 1-0 victory. I still like Tottenham. They are doing better than what we thought that they'll be, and they have produced 3 clean sheets without even Christian Romero being finally like completely inducted into the team yet. But I believe they will slack off. Like October, November, I don't see them continuing this run.
The funny thing about Tottenham is, like, obviously great results for them, is that they're actually now playing like a Mourinho squad after Mourinho left.
Yeah, how they should have played. Other quick results. Actually, there were lots of draws this week, and Newcastle to Southampton to an exciting game. West Ham to Crystal Palace to Aston Villa won. Brentford won. Brentford haven't lost a game yet. I mean, they're doing pretty good. Burnley won. Leeds won. Leicester City won 2-1 against Norwich. Everton won 2-0 against Brighton. So that's about for EPL, and as we all know, it's the international week, so there's an international break. But yeah, there are some issues going on between independent confederations and the leagues. That leagues are not allowing players to get into red flag countries. That's getting a little ugly, so we'll talk about that later and not now. So game week 3 La Liga had a lot of action. In fact, the last game of the week, which was Atletico Madrid versus Villarreal. Oh, I can see Ishan already doing double face palm. Aisa Mandi, 95th minute. I mean, I have seen a lot of own goals. Like, I've watched football for 15-20 years. I've seen a lot of own goals. This one is right there on top. Like, what, 15 seconds? For the last whistle, for the final whistle. Can you explain it? Can you articulate it?
Aisa kaisa kiya mandi. I mean, it was, I can't even describe it. Like, I was watching the game and I was like, yes, Atletico are losing. Title, favorites for the title. They are the ones dropping points. We have not lost as yet. And then a random long ball by, I think, Lodi or somebody into the Villarreal box. Nobody was there. There was literally no Atletico player even close to it. Aisa Mandi decided to, smartly chest the ball to Rulli, who's the keeper. By the way, I would put a lot of blame on the keeper for his positioning. His positioning was atrocious. He was like somewhere off, and he chested the ball straight into the back of the net. 96th minute, in a way, equalizer and Simeone, the bloody guy, starts celebrating as if it was his brainchild. He knew Aisa Mandi would do this. The way the celebrations were, it was little frustrating for me as a Madrid fan. But yeah, they got the result. They saved their asses again.
Yeah. Now, talking about the city rivals, Real Madrid, they had an impressive 1-0 against Real Betis, that to an away game. After conceding 3 goals in the previous game, I think Carlo Ancelotti's message was very clear this game.
Yeah, I think a very solid defensive performance, and what actually changed actually helped us solidify our defense was he put Alaba back into center defense. Alaba has been playing wing back since he joined Real Madrid. And I think now he's found his fixed. I think Ancelotti said it after the match as well. I like Alaba as my centre back, and that actually made a difference. He was brilliant. The player who's had almost like a comeback story is Isco. Isco is looking fit as a fiddle. I don't think he's ever looked this fit. Playing really well with the ball. He's not slow. He's passing the ball, creating chances. He's become really good, like he used to be many years ago. And it's something about Ancelotti, man. Like, Bale has started every single game. Everyone thought he'd be on the bench. He's also taking chances. He scored a goal in the last game. Obviously, Carvajal, if you saw the goal, scored a brilliant goal, which was the winner. Unbelievable finish. But Madrid actually dominated the game from the start, from the get-go. 1-0 probably is a little deceptive. But it was all for Madrid to play and win. So it was a great result.
Yeah, the other club, the other competitor that are in the news for all the wrong reasons, also won their home game against Getafe 2-1, where Getafe's goal was scored by an ex-Barcelona La Masia player and assisted by another ex-La Masia player. It was like kind of in your face for Barcelona. But yeah, Memphis Depay showing again why he is a very good signing, and he's doing really good. The second goal was brilliant.
I have a problem with Barcelona. I think they have a problem with idol worship. It used to be Messi's team, and it's now becoming Depay's team. If Depay had not come, I think both of us were very unsure about how Memphis Depay, because especially with his transfers with United, etc., how he would do. But I've never seen him play with such confidence right now, and it's actually become worse for Griezmann.
Yeah,
he's absolutely useless. I was seeing the highlights. He barely had the touch of a ball in the game. But Depay, man, like great goal again. He's scoring great goals.
Yeah.
And it's all to do with the confidence he has.
At the end of game week 3, we have no teams with all 3 victories. So the first 6 or the top 6 all have 2 victories and 1 draw. Real Madrid, Sevilla, Valencia, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and Mallorca, who is actually back in the league. PK's business, which actually brought the rights for the French or the League telecast in Spain, had a record viewership. Actually, this is the first time ever it has crossed a certain million viewership for a French game.
6.5 million.
My God,
6.5 million viewers.
Yeah, Lionel Messi finally made his PSG debut, guys. That's the game we were talking about. It's about Rem. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I mean, we are still processing this. It will take a few more weeks for us to get into terms with Lionel Messi playing in a PSG shirt. I saw the game. I saw for about 80 minutes or 85 minutes. In the last 5 minutes, I went to sleep. I couldn't take it anymore. But yeah, PSG won 2-0. Mbappe, a brace, like 2 goals, amazing goals. And it looks like he is going to continue with PSG this season unless something dramatic happens in the next few hours of the transfer window. He came in at the 65th minute, Messi. He replaced Neymar. And it was more or less like a preseason game to him. Did you see the opposition goalkeeper taking a picture with his kid?
He took his child also and took a picture with Messi. And I think that's great. I mean, I heard a lot of people like experts, etc., put a lot of shade on it. I get their point. It shows a lack of respect to the home team, home fans, etc., if you're idol worshipping somebody. But it's fine, man. Like, when is Rams gonna ever see was gonna play with Messi against Messi? And I don't want to look too much into it. But what I found really funny was Herrera, who came on alongside Messi. He posted a tweet saying that I've never been applauded so much for being subbed in my life.
Yeah,
and that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I saw Messi. I mean, he was okay. As I said, this is his first competitive game he's playing after the Copa America finals. He had 0 preseason.
But I think what he did was very smart. He didn't try to do too much. He only made simple passes. When you've reached a certain level in excellence, you don't need to show off.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do these, step over and, solo runs and slalom runs in his first game. He just kept it simple just to get the hang of it, and his time will come.
Yeah, I think Liga that's about it. We don't want to discuss much about that other than Messi. Now, in Serie A, post-Ronaldo era started horribly for Juventus. I mean, they lost 1-0 to a newly promoted side, Empoli. And it was a horrible game. I didn't watch the game. I only saw the highlights, and I really didn't see Juve doing anything in this game. It's a horror show. And if this continues, there'll be a lot of pressure on Allegri. I mean, who knows?
But if you look at it, when Allegri had his last stint, he started pretty similarly. He lost a couple of games in the beginning of his term. That's a very Allegri kind of style, because he takes some time to just get the team to play like Allegri. But yeah, if you look at the team right now, it's quite weak. You won't associate this squad with a normal powerhouse of a Juventus squad. They're probably their best player right now when you look at form is Morata, and that's saying something. Like, if Morata is your most informed player, you've got to be worried.
Whereas the Milan sides and the Rome sides, they all continue with their 100% record. Mourinho celebrated his victory with a massive pizza. He posted the video on Instagram. Lazio also had an impressive start, 6-1. Immobile scored a hat-trick. Both the Milan sides, as I said, have started with 2 victories. Now, in Bundesliga, Dortmund almost screwed up their game against Hoffenheim. Like, almost, but a last-minute spectacular winner from Haland saved them, and they won 3-2. I saw this game. I was like, same old day. These guys are doing it again, and there's going to be a lot of pressure. But in comes the hero, Haland, scores the goal, does his crazy monkey celebration, and it was a great game, and it is a much-needed victory for Dortmund. I mean, if they had lost this game, things would have gotten a bit ugly, actually, especially before the international break.
Especially this was at home, and the fans were getting a little antsy in the last 5 minutes of the game, because this is not what they expect. But Haaland came up clutch. And I think that's something I need to point out about Haaland when you do a comparison over Mbappe. Mbappe is not so far been clutch as much as Haaland has been in the last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
So that could be a differentiator eventually down the road. 4 Ballon d'Ors each down the road.
Talking about clutch and scoring goals, a familiar scene in Bundesliga where Lewandowski scored a hat-trick against Hertha Berlin where Bayern put 5. I mean, when we thought that, okay, Bayern are looking a little shaky, this could be an interesting season, bam, 5 goals, khatam, match over.
I think for Lewandowski, he should start the season at -10 and he'll still end up being the top scorer in the Bundesliga. Meaning it's unbelievable. I've run out of words.
Yeah.
We've spoken about Lewandowski. It's our 28th episode.
Yeah.
And we've spent about 15 episodes talking about not having words for Lewandowski's number of goals and the amount of goals he scored.
Yeah.
It's insane. And again, it's another season, and I actually feel that City missed a boat here by not going in aggressively for Lewandowski when they lost Kane.
I agree. I totally agree. Leipzig are not having a great time. They just lost their captain to Bayern Munich. I mean, in addition to losing their coach and their centre back, they lost 1-0 to Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg on top of the table. 3 wins. As you were saying last week, they are a team to watch out for. I mean, you can't just ignore them.
And they're in the Champions League as well. They're going to be they're in one of the easier groups. So there could be a long run for them.
I think it's not a coincidence that Arsenal versus City and the India-England test match were happening in parallel pretty much at the same time.
What an interesting analogy.
It was like universe's way of saying that no matter what you think, how confident you are, the inevitable will always happen. I mean, we started the day at 2:15 for 2, like looking all confident. Pujara and Kohli, 90-run unbeaten partnership. I was like, this looks good. Like we are in for a very good a session of cricket. But yeah, I mean, in came the new ball, and yeah, what happened was.
But what baffles me, Bala, is the amount of nicks we've had in this series, and especially in this game. The number of caught behinds, catches in the slip, it's unbelievable. We're just prodding at everything, and there's no game plan. And I actually was pretty confident India would crumble after that. On day 3, day 3, right? Day 3 or day 4?
Yeah, day 3. We started day 4, so day 3 ended at 2:15 for 2. Day 4 is when
day
we
4.
lost.
I was pretty confident that they would crumble because, that day 3 was almost like an anomaly. You get out 78 all out stupidly. And then this unbelievable partnership that happened for when we were 2:15 for 2. I didn't think it would last. It's not going to happen. And this is literally, as we were saying last week, it's a repeat of the India-Australia series, but just in the other way around. But I think it's a reality check India needed. One good thing out of it is Pujara has got notched up finally a score above 50, 91. Unfortunate not to make a century. Kohli got a half century. Finally, at least we know that he remembers how to bat. Do you see any changes in the next game for us?
As it stands, what I have seen so far, Ishant Sharma could be replaced either with Ashwin. They're definitely trying to get Ashwin back into the mix. So hopefully Ashwin in place of Ishant Sharma. I don't see any change in the batting. I mean, Ajinkya Rahane, I don't know. I think they will keep him. They may not drop him, but he looks like
really making it difficult for himself.
Yeah, he's the only player I think who looks pretty vulnerable right now.
What about Pant? Pant has been horrible.
Yeah, but I think he will be there. He will be there. I mean, who's the replacement keeper?
KL Rahul.
Saha?
No, put KL Rahul as a keeper.
Yeah, but I'm not sure, man. Test match 90 overs, KL Rahul's keeping. I don't know. I don't know whether Kohli or Shastri trust his keeping skills that much. At least in a test match. ODI T20, I agree.
Yeah. And it'll affect his batting for sure.
So India, as we said, started day 4 at 215 for 2, but ended up losing 8 wickets for 63 runs in less than 20 overs. Robinson picked up 5 wickets. I think Overton picked up 2. I think Moeen Ali picked up 1, so on and so forth. And Anderson picked up 1. So the next game starts, I think, on 2nd September in 2-3 days' time at Oval. And that's the last game and pretty much a decider. So if India wins, it will win the series and a lot of points for the World Test Championship.
I see what you did there. Don't think I ignored it.
After the success of Summer Olympics, our Indian athletes are continuing their impressive performance in Paralympics too. We already have 10 medals, guys. I mean, it's Tuesday, 31st August. We still have about 4-5 days left, and we are already 10 medals up with 2 golds, 5 silvers, and 3 bronze. We were talking about Bhavina Patel during our last episode. She went on to win silver in women's singles table tennis, but the gold was won by Avni Lekra in women's 10-meter air rifle, a 19-year-old who became the first ever woman to win an Olympics gold for India, both summer and Paralympics. This is incredible. And to continue that, we had Sumit Antil, who created world record thrice in men's javelin throw and swooped the gold medal by a great distance. Amazing performance. And we had other impressive performances in men's high jump by Nishad Kumar, Devendra Jhajaria from men's javelin throw. In fact, in the same event, we also had Sundar Gujar, who won the men's javelin throw bronze, Yogesh Khatunia in men's discus throw silver, Singraj Hadana men's 10-meter air rifle pistol, Mariappan Thangavelu, his second medal, he won I think a gold in Rio 2016, he won a silver in men's high jump. Sharad Kumar, same event, won bronze in the same men's high jump event. I mean, this is incredible. As an Indian who have been watching Olympics for a very long time, every time I open Twitter, I see a medal alert. I mean, this is an amazing feeling.
I actually hope that by the end of this event, we, go above 30 in terms of medal, because that will be great. And, we've discussed this. I just hope that these guys are just left alone when they come back home and focus on another event so that they build their, become better athletes and go for gold again, not just become a media charade when they come back India. It's really sad. So I hope, they're left alone.
Yeah, definitely, guys. And also, it's pretty encouraging to see the kind of responses, at least I see on social media. Maybe I follow a lot of sports accounts, that's why I see, but it's definitely more than what I expected. So great going, guys. Keep supporting, and let's hope we bring more medals. Ishan, what happened with the F1? I mean, by the time I switched on, the race was over.
Nothing happened, bro. That's what happened. It was like a London, like a test match in England. What happened? It was so the Belgium Grand Prix went for practice and qualifying. It was really bad. It was raining really badly. Qualifying actually was going to be cancelled, but they went ahead with it in almost zero visibility. If you saw the highlights, Lando Norris in fact crashed his car in the last couple of minutes of qualifying due to low visibility, and in fact 30 seconds before he had actually went into the comm box and said, I can't see anything, and he was very lucky. It was quite a scary crash. But then the race day happened, and just by the way, Williams was second in qualifying, which is after about 5-6 years they've been in the podium in qualifying. Russell was amazing. He probably, if you see the qualifying, Russell did such a great job, and it was sad that the race didn't finish or didn't even start, but I feel for him it's great because he probably wouldn't have ended up in the podium. So what happened, guys, was the race just couldn't proceed. The rain was so bad. They did a lot of testing. In fact, they delayed it by almost 4 hours. They were showing pit lane crew playing poker, waiting for the officials to start the race. But eventually they had to can it. So what happened was Verstappen, Russell and Hamilton, who were 1, 2 and 3 in the qualifying, got 1, 2 and 3 as a podium finish. So they will get the equivalent amount of points, which is great for Williams, amazing for Red Bull, for Verstappen, because he had a down phase where Hamilton and Mercedes were, taking the lead. So this is great overall, but sad. Belgium Grand Prix has always been Spa, is what they call it. Yeah. Has always been a very exciting race. But yeah, on to the next one.
Alright guys, so that's about it for this episode. Looking forward to the next episode where we will do a full transfer roundup. I mean, just to remind you guys, the transfer deadline will end in another 3-4 hours, I believe. So once that's done, we'll do a quick roundup of how the teams performed in transfers, and we also give our own predictions, and we'll cover more Paralympics as we win more medals. So until next episode, it's bye from Bala.
And bye from Ishan. See you on Thursday, guys.
Thank you everyone for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, and also please, we're literally begging, to rate our podcast on whichever app you're listening to. It not only helps us, but also new listeners to easily find our podcast. You can also reach out to us on Twitter @SportsCharcha. A big shout out to the Jam Room Audio for our theme music. You can follow the Jam Room on Facebook @The Jam Room Audio. Bye.
Absolutely world class.